Welcome, baseball fans, to another edition of Beyond the Ballpark, a helpful guide to Omaha this summer. I'm Kristyna with Hurrdat One, joined for this episode by two talented experts in all things Men's College World Series and general hustlers for Hurrdat Sports. Welcome to the mic, Anna Bellinghausen and Avarie Howard. Thanks, guys, for being here with me today.
Absolutely.
To talk about everything for,
Seriously.
Our favorite topic of the summer, of course. Then I would ask, we talked about some of the different seating options in the stadium, but just out of curiosity, if you are getting to watch a game, you're not working, you're not running around, where are you sitting for your ideal baseball experience?
Okay, so before I worked these games, I've actually been to two places that I loved. Like I've kind of sat all over the stadium for different things, but during the World Series, I sat behind the third base dugout, few rows up. I actually ended up being close to like the family section. It was like Vanderbilt that year, you get to see a lot of like the Omaha life kind of going on. So if people are kind of in the Blatt or just whatever it may be, it's kind of fun to like see Omaha behind you, but it's also just like a great view of the field too. Like you get to see the faces of the other dugout. I don't know. I really enjoyed that a lot. Third base side was really great. And I felt like we got some sun, but we didn't cook. And then we had shade, but I've also sat behind home plate, but like kind of towards the top. Once again, it was kind of iffy weather, kind of nice, but then we had some rain, didn't affect us at all. Awesome view. So if you're willing to like really, really enjoy the game with like nice seats, like obviously home plate, you're going to see everything. But personally, I like the third base side more than the first base side, but that's just personal.
I would agree, third base side for sure. But I would say there's some merit to sitting in the outfield
100%.
seats.
Oh my gosh, for sure.
Chanting with those fans out there and just having a blast because you know, that's people that are sitting in the reserved seat backs. Kind of want to watch what's going on, but people in the outfield
a little more serious,
a little bit more rowdy.
Get
in the
out
outfield.
there.
Like you can,
have
if
some
someone
fun.
hit a home run and you threw your beer up, you probably wouldn't get the dirty eyes looking at you. But if you did that in the reserved seats behind home plate, you'd be escorted out probably. But
or if you're just like that day, like, hey, should we go to the game and see if there's tickets available? Go out there. Who cares?
If you're experiencing it for the first time or you're with a big group of friends, just do the outfield seats. 100%. It'll be so fun.
And you have a lot of vendors behind you. A lot of like you're not main.
There's still bathrooms out there. There's still great vendors out there. Honestly, the best food is out in the outfield.
There's always a Dippin' Dots truck out there.
There's always a Dippin' Dots.
There's that.
So there's pluses.
Yes, and Dippin' Dots seems to be the thing that I hear about a lot too. So thank you for calling that out specifically and giving its location. So now getting into for game day prep, do you have any ticket hacks that you usually share with people? Like, is there a good time to buy versus a wait and see tactic that you explore?
It's a good question. There's genuinely always going to be tickets available. Leading up to the finals, usually there'll still always be tickets available. I mean, I know sometimes I'm kind of the wait and see method for a lot of my friends. I'm like, hey, if they're like pricey right now, just give it some time. There'll be something available. It might not be your dream seat, but there'll be something to get you in.
You'll get in there.
If you want to hang out downtown all day and just be a part of it, and then last minute you're like, you know what, let's go. There's a chance that you can get on and still find tickets, but. What do you think?
I recently used Game Time. This is not sponsored, by the way, but they should sponsor us.
I know.
And a tip for you. So I just bought all my friends tickets. They paid me back. Don't worry. For the Big Ten Championship.
I was like,
they paid me back.
Oh, generous.
Oh, not that generous.
Tickets,
not that generous.
But
so on Game Time, if you spend $200, you can get $20 off your order using the code SAVE20. So if you're a first-time buyer. So this was my second email. You use Game Time, so they're not going to sponsor me now that they know I've cheated.
You've revealed your hack.
I've revealed my hack, but they are very good about having fair prices, and it's called Game Time because I think if you were to purchase a ticket and it got lower, I think they reimburse you for that. Up until a certain point, but look into that. I don't know.
Am I mistaken, or is everything's gone digital, right? Everything?
You don't have a physical ticket. If you have a physical ticket, you've been scammed.
So that's what I was going to say. You might want to be really careful if someone is on the street saying, I've got two tickets or something. Make sure that there's a digital like proof. Someone has transferred it to you via Ticketmaster. That is the only way you're getting in. And screenshots don't work. So you got to have the ticket on your Apple. Or whatever
Apple
it is.
Pay, Apple Wallet.
And that's a perfect transition to my next topic too, which is things that you got to know before you go into the stadium too, which is one of those is digital tickets.
Make sure your phone is charged.
And also make sure your phone is charged.
You will lose service.
Digital tickets are the primary source of entry there. A physical ticket is very, very rare. So if you see one of those out in the street, you're exactly right. You should be skeptic of it. But still, there are occasions where if you go to the box office and you need help, you're having trouble with your phone, they'll help you out there too.
Yes,
they might print one off for you, however.
I'm sure they do, yeah.
But other things that you need to keep in mind, bag policy, security entry, help people help people with a reminder of all
clear
the things
bags,
that you need to know.
You can bring a small wallet in, but honestly, if one friend just has a clear bag, just put everything in.
Yeah, I would agree.
Put everything in one clear bag. Everyone doesn't need one. And truly, everything is so digital nowadays. You really only need your ID and your phone if you have Apple Pay. You can use Apple Pay for literally everything.
Priorities.
I will say, though, if you're going out afterwards to Old Matt or Blatt, it is a plus to have cash. So they don't take cash inside the stadium, but outside the stadium, cash can help you because there's specific cash lines, which are a lot shorter than the lines for credit cards.
That's actually a really great tip because a lot of the bars after will also not allow you to bring a bag in either for safety. They want you to have a clear bag too. So the last thing you want to do is even if let's just say they let you in the stadium with a small bag that's whatever, and you want to go out after, you're gonna have to go find your car or something to go drop that bag off.
Or drop it in a bush.
And that's just such an inconvenience. And I appreciate that they do that. I really, I love that they do that. They make sure that everyone's safe. I love that. I appreciate that. However, something that I didn't know last year, really fun to wait in line and realize.
Because I'm pretty sure at the Old Matt and Omaha Baseball Village, it's clear bag policy.
It is clear bag.
I'm pretty sure at the Blatt, with the B, you can bring a bag.
They will check it.
They'll check it, but you can bring a bag in. But if you're at the concert, you have to have a clear bag or just a wallet, something small.
So if you're looking to like bar hop by chance, you're needing a clear bag.
I would just stick with a clear bag, be minimal.
It makes it so much easier. You don't need to risk the chance of taking anything back to the car.
Right.
But cash, clear bag, play it safe.
Cash, clear bag will help. Not inside the stadium for cash, but
Those are good hacks.
Cash is back.
And you know, especially with the clear bag, if you're using it in the stadium and elsewhere, it helps expedite your entry too, I think. Instead of having a physical bag that you have to go through. Say you have one that's outside of policy and then you have to go through that song and dance. But mostly it just, even if it's the bar, even if it's the ballpark, making sure you have a bag that is within that policy helps you get in the door just a little bit quicker too, especially because those lines get long.
Yeah, then everyone's happier. Everyone behind you is happier.
Yeah, they're 100% looking at you, rolling your eyes like, why didn't you know the rules? We said sunscreen is a really important thing to remember. What about you guys? Are you traveling with rain gear when you're going to a game? Are you watching the forecast? How do you prepare for weather?
I would. I mean, if you know there's a chance of rain, I would definitely pack a poncho. There's no harm in that. You can't bring an umbrella, but you can pack a clear poncho. That's totally up for grabs. But it is nice because they do have the I guess, what do you call it? Like the concourse area. So that's all covered. Obviously, if you needed to stand up there, but
I would say the stadium is a little bit more full during this, so it is a little bit harder to everyone just move up.
Not everyone can do that.
Yeah, not everyone can fit. So I would also probably just bring a poncho.
Yeah, bring a clear poncho. Get them at Walmart. It's probably a couple bucks. Yeah, totally worth it.
Yeah. And you'll see a handful of a row of people just sitting with their matching ponchos because they're willing to wait out the game. Those diehard fans. What about parking recommendations? What do you have for that? What's a good way to make sure that you get down there and toss your vehicle quickly?
I mean, Lot D, if you get there early enough, I think is always a great spot because it's large. You can tailgate there. You can walk around and still experience, and then it's not that bad of a walk to the ballpark.
Not at all.
So if you use a parking meter, it's $30 for the whole day.
Yeah.
I want to say Lot D's $10.
Yeah,
15.
Yep.
Okay, so if you go early enough, you can find a meter spot, but I mean it's $30. So
which is fine for one day, but after a few days,
after a few days,
it's it up a little bit.
If you're in a pinch, I would say meter's great. If not,
what's the lot right across the street from the Blatt? What is that? E?
That's Lot B.
B.
So,
B.
Yeah, Lot B is also always pass parking. So we say don't even waste your time.
How do you even get a pass for that?
If you're a club seat holder, or if you have a suite at Charles Schwab Field.
There you go.
Those are the folks that get to park in Lot D. And often Lot D is also partially pass parking
because you got to go early if you want.
So you got to get there early if you're trying to. But it's $15 at the surface lots, and then Lot A is the one that's just on the east side of the CHI Health Center that nobody seems to remember, and I feel like I'm going to kick myself for giving it away. But it is a breeze to get in and out of there, and the garage that's attached to the CHI Health Center.
Yeah, that's true. There are. I mean, you have to pay for these too, but there are a few garages right down the street that
by the Capital District.
Capital District, the one that's attached to that hotel. You don't have to be just staying in the hotel to stay there, which is great. I couldn't tell you what the exact price is these days of going in and out of there. I don't know if they crank it up that week, but there's definitely a lot of spots if you venture a tad bit.
You could find a free place to park that's near downtown and also Uber from that location.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So like if you were, let's say, out west and want to go downtown and it's way too much to Uber from, let's say, Gretna or something for you, drive somewhere where you know you can get your car maybe the next day or whatever if you're drinking, and then Uber down. That's another good option too. Find a free place to park that's not really close to the stadium, and then Uber over for $10.
Even if you have to park in the old market somewhere because it's not as packed in there, it's really not that far of a walk. It really isn't.
Or grab
also, I will give a shout out to our transportation system during that time, not like the cities, but rather like Uber and Lyft, because when I talk to drivers, they will drive in from like Kansas City, from Des Moines, from Sioux Falls.
Wow, how interesting.
For this event. So I don't really have that many issues Ubering.
I would say the only thing is if you're going to get picked up by an Uber, walk a little bit away from the stadium because so many of those roads are blocked that they can't really get to you. And then it becomes this like phone tag situation where no one knows where each other is at the moment. So I would walk like a few streets over. Once you get there, it's easy as can be. Like just walk a street away from where everything's happening. So much easier. Every single time that I've had friends try to get picked up in an Uber, like standing at the bar, it gets canceled. They can't come get you. But like Anna said, like they are willing and ready to come get you. You just have to make it a little bit easier for them.
So interesting. I don't know if I knew that they brought in like extra hands on deck.
Well,
to
they
help
don't
with the series.
Like they just decide. They're just like, oh, we know this big event's happening, and there aren't enough Uber drivers locally in Omaha
Probably
to fulfill
not
that.
Yeah, every day.
So I feel like if I'm an Uber driver, I'm calling my buddies being like, hey, guess what?
Yeah. I'm making money.
I'm making all this bank. You guys want to do this too? But
Well, and speaking of killing time, what is it that you recommend people do if they're waiting around for a weather delay, which is inevitable during the college
Go to the bar.
series? Yeah, I mean, you might as well. Yeah,
well, you're close by, which is nice, and a lot of them have patios with cover. Like Rocco's is a covered patio. The Blatt is a covered,
partially, mostly
covered for the most part. I mean, like Lefty's is a bar that has all their garage doors open, so it's like you don't feel like you're truly trapped inside. So there's a good amount
anywhere.
I would say go get a nice dinner, go get food quite literally
bring the
anywhere.
kids to Spaghetti Works.
Yeah.
If you're with the family.
Not a super far walk, but it's always a hit with kids.
Yeah. There was one year that I waited for a rain delay and we had dinner at the Blatt and we just kept staying at the Blatt. It actually becomes kind of a fun atmosphere because a lot of fan bases have to go sit there for a while.
We're all in the same boat at that point.
So you're either meeting, parents of players, you're meeting, alums. I mean, we were up there one time and like Jay Cutler was just hanging out because he was just waiting out the rain delay just because it doesn't really, you don't know who you're going to see because everyone's got to get shelter somewhere.
Manning's taking shots at Rocco.
Seriously. So you really don't know. I mean, they're kind of everywhere.
Shot he bought.
So you really never know who's around. I think one time we were really up there and we were like, I swear we know that guy. And then he turned around and we're like, yeah, it's Jay Cutler. What are you doing?
Seen him on TV a few times.
Yeah. So just kind of crazy. You really never know, but staying close to the stadium is obviously like your best bet. But if you know, like, okay, we've got a few lightning strikes and nothing's leaving, like go get a dinner.
Yeah.
You got time.
An excellent recommendation too. Yeah, you're right. Because that atmosphere just spills out into that, whether you're working or you're a parent or you're a fan, you're all, like you said,
all in
the same boat, just waiting for the storm to pass, which you have no control over. So as we're talking about the series too, I want to get your takes on just, and maybe predictions. I don't know if this will be timely because of course people may be listening to this throughout the course of the series or maybe just leading up to it. But I'm just curious if you're keeping an eye on anybody, any teams, any hitters. Of course, what am I saying? Of course you are. Any pitchers that you think are just really having a phenomenal season. I want your educated takes on how the seasons are shaping up.
Pop off, Avery Howard.
I know. Well, it's like it's a record number of how many SEC teams are in the tournament this year. So it just feels like we say that every year. 8 hosting, I think 13 or 14 are in, which is just madness.
Only one didn't make it, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. There's a few more than that. Yeah, but obviously A&M not being in it is wild. But either way, it's inevitable that we're going to have, I think, majority of the field being the SEC. I think it would be really cool to see Arkansas get back here just because they time and time again have really talented teams, but have not gotten over that hurdle, and their head coach has not won a national title with Arkansas. A lot of Nebraska fans know who I'm talking about, Coach Van Horn, and there's also a few local products on that team. So I think a lot of fans here would love to see some of those kids from Nebraska playing for Arkansas come back here. there's some really talented players on Florida State right now. And the fact that Link Jarrett's got this team back in contention and hosting after they had a terrible postseason or even season 2 seasons ago. I mean, the tradition of LSU coming back, I mean, we saw them take over the town. I know the city of Omaha would be more than happy to have the LSU faithful here.
We love to have LSU.
Yeah, but then I think it'd be fun to see a few teams that we haven't necessarily seen here yet, whether it's a Southern Mississippi team who's hosting once again or a coastal team. I just think there's
people would love Coastal Carolina.
Yeah, they're a very.
I feel like if they came back, Omaha, that would be Omaha's team.
Yeah, they're
even if LSU does embrace like a Cinderella. It seems to be
because
the
they
team
want
that we
to
attach.
They want to hear. Yeah, they're a fun team to watch. A part of me really wants. I can't say that, but a part of me really wants Clemson to come just because they have a really exciting team. Yeah. They play an interesting style of baseball. They have a head coach that I think people would really appreciate just watching him. Yeah. He's very animated when he needs to be. They have a center fielder who plays baseball like he's a wide receiver. It just a lot of really cool players right now that are, I mean, we get to watch obviously this weekend. Yep. So
we'll find out here.
We will find out, but there's just a lot. And I think we have a really,
Nebraska. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that would be, we still got a taste of that, right?
Yeah,
there's a chance.
There is. And I think this is like a 20th anniversary from the last time we saw them maybe in the series
and Nebraska,
so that would be
crazy.
So,
yeah. Imagine one of those teams being.
I know. I think honestly the field is wide open though, because there hasn't been necessarily a team that's just truly taken over this season. So I think we're kind of in for a treat to have maybe some teams that we haven't had in a little while.
Sure.
You never know.
Yeah. And that is magic. Kind of unusual too, right? It seems like every year there is one that is a standout. Everybody's watching. Everybody kind of has an understanding of how they're going to dominate the field of play. But this year you're saying it could be like you're shrugging. Could be
I mean, LSU is number 1, but
sure. Yeah, and but Texas was for a majority of the season,
and
so it's just kind of interesting to.
And LSU's been beat recently too, so.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we're not even talking about Vanderbilt. They just won the
Vanderbilt,
SEC. So that's just kind of how wide open it is right now, and I think that's pretty exciting.
It'll be really fun.
It'll be cool.
Yeah, definitely. So now I'm wondering too, if we're talking about like a fan-focused strategy, how do you get the most out of the tournament? What are the games that you must watch? Is it the elimination games? Is it the bracket finals? What are the ones that you're just glued to throughout the course of those couple of weeks?
Gosh, I mean, honestly, that's so hard because I think that opening day is just like the excitement.
Opening weekend's the best.
Yeah, the opening, like just seeing everyone play their first game is just like, and I feel like they do a really good job of that night game. The first day night game, is always just like really intense. I don't know. I really think like, I mean, there's rarely been a time where I'm like, I don't care about this game. Like quite literally ever, just because there's so much on the line, whether both teams are 2-0 or whatever it may be. Yep. I mean, obviously as you get later in when there's higher implications, you're always going to have a more juiced up energy,
hold your breath,
filled stadium. But I don't know. I mean, seriously, like obviously you're going to want to watch the finals, obviously, but some of those matchups where the teams are either one-loss teams and their backs against the wall to get there. I mean, those are some of the best games too.
Yeah, some of the first elimination games. Honestly, if you can hit any of the night games, you have to experience a night game. I would say
they're wonderful too. And like you said, the sun's gone down a little bit.
Yeah, it cools off
a little more comfortable. Maybe they've been sweating all afternoon, but when that breeze moves in, it's, it changes the atmosphere too.
And they added a Ferris wheel last year.
Yes,
so at night, seeing that thing lit up back there, that was kind of fun.
Cool.
That was really cool.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree.
What about emotional turning points when you're watching the game? How do you identify when momentum is shifting? How do you spot it?
If you're a fan, I mean, well, the best thing is you can rely on the fans of that team because they're if they're traveling,
they're having big feelings, they
know. And so like when the momentum shifts, obviously big hits, big strikeouts and stuff, but you can feed off that energy of the fans of that team because you'll see the section of all the diehard Arkansas fans or whatever.
The parents. I love that part. I love that part. Yeah.
Like you'll know when that momentum shifts and just there's no, I think, better feeling and sound of a baseball like getting hit 400
just
feet
that crack,
at Charles Schwab and like just I'll never forget when Tommy White hit that home run against Wake Forest. Like that, the walk-off home run, just like it felt like it was in slow motion. So
yeah, and I think too, like you said, I mean, even if you don't know baseball, essentially, and you just want to enjoy it, and you're like, what am I getting myself into here? you will see the rest of like the stadium essentially sitting down, but there'll be a section behind one of the dugouts that's just standing. And like, that's the family, that's the friend section. And like, that's when you'll know too. And I think that's the part that I enjoy the most, like truly watching, like, you know, the moms high-fiving one another, dads,
They've been
getting in
all
there.
Season.
And so like, you know that when you watch that too. But like Anna said, I mean, even a leadoff hit to start the inning, like usually wouldn't cheer that loud for those kind of moments, but in the World Series, it means everything. Like every strikeout, every strike is important. So, I mean, honestly, the momentum is every game.
It's there the whole time.
All game.
And you bring up a good point too, from like a reporter standpoint, when you're covering these games and there's a momentum change, what are you looking for with the teams? Are you just watching their reactions? Are you just trying to check your gut against theirs?
That I like to, I mean, a lot of times you'll see the coaches will pull a meeting in the dugout. And so I watch that a lot. Like, and it's something that I'll always usually ask for, especially if it works out. I'm like, hey, you guys had a whole dugout meeting. Like, you don't see that a whole lot. Usually it's like, you know, just hitters or pitchers, whatever it may be on the mound, whole team meeting in the 6th inning. Like, then you strung together 4 hits after that. What was happening there? But I think, you know, when a pitcher's going and a pitcher's really, like, if a pitcher can shut down the side or whatever it is, usually the bats come alive, usually the inning following, something of that nature. So watching those things connect a lot of the times I like to watch out for.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I mean, it's also your preparation too. Like if a kid's been injured all season long and gets his first at-bat in an elimination game or something, and you hear all the parents, you know, screaming and hollering, you're like, why do they care about this?
Yeah.
You know, like it's just someone coming up to the plate. Well, maybe you don't know the backstory of it. So I think it's our job to find those backstories of like, okay, why is this moment important to these diehard fans? And also just like going up and asking too, and like hearing their perspective. And I think just being curious is truly like our biggest job, is just being so curious in the College World Series. Because I mean, Avarie and I don't follow every single team that makes the College World Series every single day.
It'd be very hard, yes.
We simply couldn't, because we'd have to have been watching 64 teams that we predicted, right? So like, you know, we have so much research to do upon us finding out of the 8 teams for sure that are coming. So it's us like being curious, finding stories, listening, like active listening, hearing those press conferences and being able to identify, okay, here are some of those big stories, and, you know, looking on social media, reading other articles and stuff. So it's a big challenge, honestly, like learning these 8 teams, because, you know, we're not going to lie to people and say, oh, I've been watching, you know, Ole Miss since the start of their season or whatever. Like, you know, we have to learn these teams when they come here too. So it's a lot of research and a lot of like being curious and learning.
Honestly, like a huge shout out to all the coverage they do of the regionals and super regionals, because that's when I start my notes. Like I put my notes together. And just ESPN, like watching all of these matchups, and just, I mean, because we don't get the full access that, you know, TV does. So a lot of my stuff, it's kind of piggybacking off, you know, what I'm being told in a game when I'm watching regionals. Like, okay, this kid is on a 21 game hit streak, so now I'm paying attention to that, so I can put my notes down. So if that continues, I know it's just like, oh, he's on a 4 game hit streak. No, he's on a 25 game hit streak, whatever it may be. And just a lot of the behind the scenes stories. And they do a good job at the super regionals and regionals of, you know, talking to family members and things of that nature. So you're able to get some tidbits there. So a huge shout out to the teams, the broadcast crews that cover baseball like they do in the postseason, because we don't get it. It
makes their jobs a lot easier.
Yeah, like the regular season is on, you know, if you don't have ESPN Plus or if you're not
SEC
on
network,
or
ACC network,
or you know, Flow Sports, whatever. So they do a great job of really putting that in one spot. And I'm kind of glued to the TV for the, you know, 2 weekends before the College World Series, because it's a quick turn.
I'm
you know,
excited.
we find out those 8 teams, and it's like, hey, by the way, you're going to talk to all 8 of them in like 3 days. So you know, so
better
it's
figure
a lot.
it out.
A little bit of advanced research goes a long way.
But that's why these next 2 weekends are like my favorite 2 weekends of the year, because we get to figure out who's coming.
Well, and it contributes just to the genuine behind the scenes kind of commitment and coverage that helps you tell those stories that you just can't. I think you've said so many ways throughout this conversation that you just can't find anywhere else. Only you can find it at the Men's College World Series. And then especially when you have everybody in one place in Omaha, because to your point, otherwise they are spread all over the country, playing at the same time, playing early in the morning and late at night. So no, that I think that makes your coverage even more robust and helps people find those really special and interesting moments too. So then I would ask, what's your favorite kind of baseball game? Is it the blowouts, is it the walk-offs, comeback duels?
What did we have last year? The first 3 games were all walk-offs.
Yeah, we got really lucky. I mean, you can't beat a walk-off.
No.
I will say I love a pitcher's duel.
Yeah.
I love a 0-0 game heading into the 7th inning.
Especially
we
at
had
this
that 2 years
level.
ago too. A real that really significant.
Rhett Lauder versus Paul Skeens. Like that is
like people say that.
to
People
me.
will say the Paul Skeens Rhett Lauder game, and like people know what that means.
Yeah.
Like how cool is that?
Yeah.
Like we're talking about 2 pitchers who just went face to face at the college level, who then both got drafted first round like 2 weeks later or whatever. Like that's like crazy stuff.
And
So,
that's one of
earned
the
it all season, but earned it in
most
Omaha.
amazing
too.
games you've ever
and like
seen.
everyone wants to go watch some hitters, of course, right? Like, but when you have 2 pitchers that are absolutely just hitting every ounce of the strike zone and just dealing
like locked
like
horns,
a showcase of everything that you put together all season, like your best stuff in the most high pressure situation you've ever been in. Like that's really cool stuff to watch. I mean, we had a guy throwing 101 miles per hour like consecutively. That's just stupid,
like
right?
in the
like
5th inning,
so
still throwing 100.
to get to watch that kind of level. I mean, I think all of the games the last 2 years we've had incredible games.
We've been really lucky, but I mean, like I said, can't beat a walk-off. Love a pitcher's duel. I think, I mean, once you have like 12 pitching changes in a game, that's when it gets pretty rough. I think those are tough, but usually during the Cold World Series, it doesn't happen too much. They, they're rested, so they have their guys available. But
yeah, absolutely. So thank you so much. Before we wrap up, though, I want to ask: do you have one golden tip that you would share specifically with fans to help enhance their game time experience?
I would say one. So if you aren't here with an actual fan base, or you didn't travel here with the fan base, you were here to just truly enjoy the experience. Don't be afraid to go walk around a lot of the lots where people are tailgating.
Yes.
Just to kind of walk through it.
And everybody's friends out there too.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so maybe you're just parking in lot D or whatever it may be. Like walk through there, say hi to people, welcome them to Omaha, because they are so willing to share their culture with you.
Yeah.
They're going to share their food with you. They want to know everything about this place too. And so don't be afraid to go do that. That really puts you in the mood of this place. I mean, it's like tailgating in Lincoln. You walk around, you see the vibes, people out and about. Like, I think that grows your excitement. So don't be afraid to go do that. And totally walk around everything that the baseball village has to offer before the game, because I think that's what really gets you excited before you go in that stadium. But I would say the tailgates, like that's one thing that people kind of forget. Like, okay, sure, if you're here at the fan base, you're going to do that. But if not, like go say hello, walk through there, say hi to people, welcome, where are you from? I think everyone just enjoys a friendly conversation, and I think it's cool to get to learn who's here.
Yeah, and your tailgating happens largely in like lot B and D, like you said too, right by the stadium. You can't miss them because a lot of times they have huge setups that you can't believe they traveled halfway across the country with it, but they do.
Yeah, I mean, I keep bringing up LSU fans, but like they will literally do a crawfish boil, and they'll be like, "Please come try this." Like,
and they're
we want
dying
to try
feed
this.
you. Exactly.
Yeah, and like you get to they literally are, and you have no idea. Like, I mean, Ole Miss will tailgate with chandeliers, like. They're bringing this stuff here. Like, go experience it. That's something we don't get to see. So be a part of it.
You're
for sure.
exactly right.
I would say don't be afraid of a line, because
Totally.
Afterwards there are large lines to get into the Blatt and the Mat, but honestly they go fairly quickly. Like there's people going in and out, and it's worth it. Like the moment you step out of that line, you're about to enter a different line to go somewhere else, unless you're just like calling it a night at that point. Don't be afraid of lines, but know that like Omaha is prepared to handle the amount of crowds. Like we've done this for X amount of years. What is it? It's 75 of the entire event, but it's been happening in Omaha for a while. But I would say don't be afraid of lines. Bring cash, because that'll help you out to make things go quicker if you need to purchase things. And then just kind of have a plan in mind of like where you want to go, what you want to do, just so you don't waste your time. Not to say anything is a waste of time in Omaha, like you'll find something, but I think if you can kind of plan out your days, just to know like, hey, I want to hit this spot and arrive early to the game too. I think you can't beat that experience of like getting to truly see the atmosphere before. Like don't be stressed out trying to get to your seats. Go early, experience some things around, and just like have a plan for even if you Avery hates this, but even if you need to leave the game early.
Why would you leave the game early?
I was like,
Avery will never leave the game early, but like
one time Anna's friends like tried to get us to leave the game early, and like the game was like on the line, and I was like,
see, but my friends didn't care.
I know that.
I'll catch up with you.
I know that they will, but I don't leave the game early.
But it's baseball. It can just change so quickly.
It can change early, and I'm not a proponent of leaving early personally, but like if you're trying to go somewhere afterwards, you gotta.
If the game is not closed, if it's not on the brink of a walk-off,
like,
you can leave the
you're
game.
going to be waiting an even longer line. Like, there is a great pilgrimage from Charles Schwab to Baseball Village. For the stage and the DJ and everything, and then to the Blatt.
You're moving with the crowd.
So I'm just saying, if you care more about the nightlife experience than the end of the baseball game, Get in line.
Also,
Get in line.
my last thing is they do allow the little fans with the water spritzer.
Oh,
thing
yes, they
in
do.
the stadium.
Yeah.
So if you bring that,
Game changer.
They'll let you bring it in.
The ones that are like you can like rest on your shoulders
Yes.
too. The self-cooling technology really has advanced.
They will
the
let
past
those in.
couple years.
I just remembered that. Yeah.
And we'll have a Hurrdat Sports booth in Omaha Baseball Village. We're gonna be we'll give out some fans. We're gonna try to get some towels,
koozies.
Koozies. We'll have free appetizer gift cards for Hurrdat Sports Bar.
Yeah.
We'll be doing giveaways, fun stuff. So yeah, come find us and we'll hook you up.
Yeah. You need a fan. We'll have them.
We'll be down there too. Awesome. Thank you so much, both of you, Avarie and Anna, for your knowledge on this episode. And again, a reminder that you'll be leading the Hurrdat Sports coverage of the Men's College World Series again this year, finding those unique stories that happen during the event, as well as covering your favorite teams, gameplay, everything in between. And your team does a truly exceptional job. So thank you again for your work. And I'm already
excited to have you guys down there this year.
Yeah,
it's going to be a blast.
World Series.
Yeah.
It's going to be excellent. And remember to follow Beyond the Ballpark for all your Men's College World Series coverage only on Hurrdat 1.